Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we are diving into Great League with a lot of action by a line that I think you're gonna enjoy a lot. It is no news that this particular line is gonna work well, so we're having the Ox up on the lead, at the back the Wolverine with the Scrafty. This team is working mainly because of the counter being super good on the meta, and of course you're having two neutral Pokemon like Wolverine and the Oxys, while Scrafty can be used like a risky closer. You can always replace it with whatever you want, but I believe that Scrafty still has a lot of play in the meta, especially against the steel types, because a lot of Bastodons all of a sudden emerged into the meta. So we're having now the Deoxys coming into that Stunfisk after they finish off our Wolverine, but we don't care at all because we're having the shield advantage while they have none, and this is looking pretty promising for our team. After we get all that energy out of the Stunfisk onto our Deoxys, we can go in with our Scrafty, start farming down, and they return with that Revenant. So you know what, we got those foul plays which can just be absolutely amazing for us, able to farm down the Trev, and now they return with the Ninetales. Are you kidding me? We have the upper hand here with those power up punches, and eventually we're gonna put at a point that we can finish it off with a Rock Slide. Because there's Shadow, I'm more than ever confident that we can one-shot down this thing. Look at how easy it is for the Deoxys to reach there, and of course this is gonna be an early win for this video. So in the next one we're met up with a Sableye, which is super bad news for my team. We have to switch out of there as soon as possible, and of course Wolverine is our next go-to Pokemon. They decide to shield, and that gives me an edge on the advantage here, because we're having kinda the upper hand now, and of course the Earthquake is gonna connect for big damage on the Ninetales. However, they can still withstand it and of course farm me down, which means that the Oxys now can go in and have the easy farm down in return. However, we're expecting that Sableye to come into the battle, so that's why I'm gonna bring my Scrafty as soon as possible. So with the Scrafty against the Sableye, you have to block that return, and if you can do that once, well, you're gonna be in a very good spot overall, resisting those Shadow Claws and of course the foul plays. At this point they're having the Stunfisk, and you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and pressure even more with my power up punches. I think I have to let it go through. No, I'm just gonna shield. Okay, so Ganeto outplaying Ganeto here, and yeah, right after they're gonna leave the battle because we shielded the correct move, the Earthquake, and now they have nothing to throw. So with Sableye remaining, they stand no chance at all. Into the next one now with the Roserade. So this is tricky because as you can see we are not running at all Psycho Boost, so with the Rock Slide being the most optimal move that we can throw, we are just glad that we took a shield out of them, and once again we're heading into the mid matchup with the shield advantage. So Roserade pretty tricky with its moveset. It carries Leaf Storm for the nuke, Poison Jab for the crazy fast attack pressure, and of course Weather Ball being fire for a really nice amount of chip damage. So now we're gonna be able to go ahead and pressure with our power up punches against the Seeking. They debuff our Pokemon and we take that buff back up to our stats. So you can see as to how we can manipulate this battle, and of course we need to shield here if we want to have any chance at all. Right now we're gonna be able to completely farm down, and I think we're not having any debuffs on our side, but still no buffs at all. We're kinda on zero, and now Roserade will be able to finish us off. Wolverine returns, and unfortunately they have a Ferrothorn at the back. However, if we can play this smart, we might have a chance at beating them down, because we need to seal this one, and perhaps the Earthquake might do the trick here. I'm just gonna throw on the alignment on the CMP, trying to take advantage of the energy as much as possible, and of course reach to the Icicle Spear to finish them off. Are you kidding me? Wolverine with a very nice sweep against their team. That is looking pretty promising, and of course is gonna fulfill our victory. So Stunfisk in the next one, not the best, not the worst. So our counters are still gonna do a lot of work up against them, while we got a moveset that is definitely resisted by them. Not running Psycho Boost immediately gives you some problems like this, because it is gonna be single resisted here, while Rock Slide and Thunderbolt are double resisted, or you need some coverage against poison types like the Roserade before, but still you can see that is gonna be pretty close, and most of the times you are not gonna miss that Psycho Boost at all. So we're having now the return return of the Scrafty, we knew that was gonna be just a Rock Slide, I let it go through, and of course now those foul plays might just do the trick with those shields. Once again we managed to get that early shield advantage, but of course we need to shield the next move because Dragon Claw might do a lot of work up against us. I have already the foul play ready to go, trying to go now into my wall rain, and guess what, they have that Venusaur, so it's all up to the complete nuke. They are gonna go down with the falling powder snow before they reach to the first plant, and that is looking pretty cool for us because now we can reach into our Icicle Spear for the final time, and that's gonna secure the victory against that Charizard. Piscine, whatever that name was, and we're having the Trevenant once again. Yeah, as you can see, we're not having a lot of great leads on this video. Most of those are gonna be pretty bad against ghost types, and now we're having the return of the Bastiodon. So this is pretty tricky as well because those Smackdowns are gonna do super effective damage at us, while we can land here the Earthquake and absolutely have a chance at winning this mid-battle out of nowhere. So we take once again that shield out of them, and of course this time we're not having the shield advantage rather than the even shield scenario, but it doesn't matter because we're expecting that Trevenant to return. Gonna wait a little bit too more, and yeah, at the back there is gonna be Drapion, so a lot of teams are not even prepared for Scrafty. That's why you need to use this Pokemon. It is unique, it is absolutely pressuring, and your opponents might just not have quite what it takes to finish it off, because a lot of trainers tend to go in there with Bastiodons, Drapions and Trevenants, as you can see on this team, so that your Scrafty will eventually have a very good battle overall. And with the recent rise of Bastiodon and Stunfisk, of course you're gonna see that Noctowls are not around that much, so that gives you more room than ever to use your Scrafty effectively. Able to get that final shield out of play with my foul play, and now we can reach to the Rock Slide, which is gonna connect for big damage on the Trev, and at this point they are forced in using their Shadow Ball. However, they are super low, and that final counter will just do the trick up against them. Into the next one now with the Umbreon up on the lead. This is horrible lead for us, however I can still stay in a little bit with those counters, trying to catch one move on my wall rain. This is not gonna happen at all, they know better, but they are gonna throw a little bit later. Another move is coming off, which means now that this Umbreon is kinda energy dry, so we have to overfarm at a point that we have the Earthquake ready to go for sure, and they're trying to catch the Icicle Spear on that Azumarill. I was expecting the switch, to be honest, so I was just overfarming till I had 100 energy, and now I can throw the back-to-back Earthquakes. So here I might have shielded. That could have been the better play, I believe, but it doesn't matter because I can still go in with my Deoxys and start farming down some crucial energy against that Azumarill. Look at how easy it is to farm that Azumarill from the red HP without spending the shield, and now the Rock Slides will do a nice amount of work up against that Umbreon. So on this matchup, this is pretty tricky. I'm trying to catch a move on the first time, it did not work, but on the second time it did, and now we can absorb that foul play damage. However, they are having a Charmer at the back, and the Shadow Charm is hurting so much that we cannot withstand it, and of course we're gonna take this loss, which was a bummer against that Shadow Granbull. Yeah, things like this might happen with this team, especially on the closing part against your Scrafty. Into the final one, trainers, against a former legend from this season, and now we're gonna reach to that Icicle Spear against that very bad lead with the Trevenant. Let's see if we can beat the legend with this team with a very bad lead, the worst that you can get against the ghost type with your Deoxys. So Icicle Spear once again, but they managed to catch on the Talonflame. However, we're gonna go down to the falling Incinerate, and now all we have to do is to keep that shield for the end game, and our Scrafty, perhaps they're getting double weak back there. So I'm getting to a double Rock Slide almost, and now I'm gonna unleash the power of my own Rock Slide to that Talonflame at the back. They decide to return with a leader Pokemon, the Trevenant, and now my Scrafty has to do a lot of work here because one foul play might just do the trick up against the ghost type Pokemon. Down they go, at the back they have another ghost type, and this is looking pretty promising for us if we can block here correctly. So what I want to do is to pressure with my foul play, try to get that shield and then finish off with a rock slide. However, they end up taking the first move, so yeah, this is gonna be the end to an amazing video featuring Scrafty in a very nice and all around team. Thank you for watching, trainers. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and if you want to support even more, well, joining as a member can always help with that matter. Thank you once again, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers!